So let's get into the nitty-gritty of setting up your website hub for success. For starters, do you have a logo? A logo should be more than just your brand name spelled out in some font. Translate that logo into what is often referred to as a favicon, and that's what shows up when you have a tab open, and it's that little icon that you see that comes up as you are browsing throughout the internet. It's not something that's gonna help you rank higher, but again, just like a logo, it helps you look professional and helps solidify your online presence and helps solidify it as a trusted place that when people go to, you look like a trusted brand. I see a lot of people, unfortunately, have way too many fields that people can click on when they get to that navigation or that menu bar. Usually it's up at the top, and you want it to be really clear and you want it to be really simple. There's an old adage that every page on your website should be no more than 3 clicks from your homepage. So pause and take a look at how your navigation and your menu is. And if it's confusing or if it does not accurately encapsulate all the stuff that's on your website, then you're gonna wanna make sure to streamline that. You also need to have all of the basic requirements by law for things like privacy policy. You wanna have a nice footer that accurately positions you as having copyright and things like that. One area that I commonly see missing on photography websites is a really solid, well built out about page. Photography is a personal service business. Spend time building out your about page. Make sure that it has a good looking headshot on it, and make sure that it has some great text describing who you are. Don't let that page be one of the pages that is under construction for a long period of time. So often photographers will put a lot of energy into their gallery pages and not enough time into sections like their about page. Make sure that you pay attention to your page titles and to your page meta descriptions. Every single page on your website gets to have a title and gets to have a meta description. You want to make sure, as best as possible, that you can get your site over to HTTPS sooner rather than later. So HTTPS basically stands for having a secure site. Now you might be thinking to yourself, why would I need to have an HTTPS website when I'm not necessarily processing credit card data or things like that over my website? And it's a good thought. The problem is that in the last couple of years, Google has actually come out and said that being on an HTTPS or being on a secure site is an element of trust for them. When you go to a website that isn't on HTTPS, up in the top, it will say in a big banner, not secure. Probably not the greatest look for your brand, and it's actually not that hard to get over to HTTPS. So you really should try to plan for it. Broken links are another thing that you can pretty easily fix. You can go through every one of the pages on your website and click all the links and make sure that they actually go to a destination. Now there's 2 types of broken links that can happen. Number one is you could be linking out to somebody else, a different website, and that website could go down or that business could no longer be around or whatever, and that's now a broken link. It also can happen inside of your website when you're linking from one page to another, but then maybe you change the navigation or you got rid of one page because you found a better page or updated something and now that page no longer exists. Both are broken links and they're bad experiences for your user. Google also doesn't really like them very much because it's a bad experience, but it also doesn't allow them to crawl through your site naturally. A sitemap is similar to broken links in that it's not a vital thing for your website to rank, but it's really easy to generate. And a sitemap is basically something that you provide to Google and other search crawlers, and it helps them understand how to navigate through your website. None of these that we've talked about yet are groundbreaking. They're all very, very basic and fundamental. They give you the best opportunity for your content to be discovered, to be shared, to be indexed by Google, and then to rank over the long term for all sorts of different search terms. Let's talk about URLs. So URLs are going to be the extended version of what you see up in the menu bar when you type in your website and all the dashes and all the keywords that build out to be a URL. As you start to publish more content, and you might already be in this position, these URLs, you need to have a structure for them, and you want to have a structure. Now, if you don't have a structure for them, that can be problematic over the long term because not only is it very confusing, but you're also not maximizing your potential. So here are some things to know about URLs that are really basic but pretty easy to keep in mind. Number one, you want to have as short of URLs as possible. Try to use keywords in your URL. Try to avoid stop words, things like and, the, words that don't add value in terms of their uniqueness. Try to also avoid subdomains. So a subdomain would be a subdirectory or a subpart of your website's main domain to house something. You might have seen something like blog.mywebsite.com. Whenever it comes at that front end before the actual URL, you know that it's a part of a subdomain. Some of these things like URL structure and subdomains, you might already have those things as a part of your website. But for those of you who haven't set up some of these factors of your website, knowing these things in advance will give you a lot more clarity on how to do it going forward.